The breakfast most people over 60 eat every single morning is quietly spiking their blood sugar, crashing their energy by mid-morning, and accelerating the loss of muscle tissue while they sit there thinking they are eating healthy. And the worst part is, this is not some exotic junk food. It is sitting on kitchen tables in virtually every home in America right now. Toast, cereal, orange juice, a combination that millions of seniors eat every day, believing it is a sensible, balanced start to the morning. It is none of those things. Here is how serious this really is. Research from the CDC has found that skipping breakfast or eating the wrong breakfast can elevate blood sugar, not just through the morning, but through lunch and dinner as well. One bad morning meal creates a metabolic ripple effect that distorts your energy, your hunger, and your hormonal balance for the rest of the entire day. And after the age of 60, when your body is already less efficient at managing blood sugar, that ripple becomes a wave. I am Dr. William Carter, and today I am going to walk you through exactly what the wrong breakfast does to your body after 60, why the foods you think are healthy are actually driving the problem. And then I'm going to give you a specific replacement breakfast that takes less than 5 minutes, costs almost nothing, and is backed by research from the frontiers of nutrition science. I am saving that replacement for the very end, because once you hear it, you will never look at your morning routine the same way again. Now, everything I share today is general wellness information grounded in published research. It is not medical advice, and it is not a replacement for guidance from your own doctor who knows your personal history. The studies I reference are linked in the description below. Before we go further, tell me something in the comments. What did you eat for breakfast this morning? Be honest. I am going to walk you through exactly what that meal did inside your body in the next few minutes, and your answer might surprise you when you hear the science behind it. The dawn phenomenon. To understand why breakfast matters so much more after 60, you need to understand something most doctors never explain to their patients. It is called the dawn phenomenon. Every single morning, in the hours before you wake up, your body releases a surge of hormones, primarily cortisol and glucagon, that raise your blood sugar levels. This is completely normal. It is your body's way of giving you energy to start the day, a holdover from a time when humans needed to wake up ready to hunt, forage, and survive. The problem is what happens next. In a younger body, insulin responds quickly, regulates that morning surge, and blood sugar stabilizes. But after the age of 60, your insulin response slows down. Your cells become less sensitive to insulin's signal. Researchers call this insulin resistance, and it affects a staggering number of adults over 60, including millions who have never been diagnosed with diabetes. So you wake up with blood sugar that is already elevated, and then you sit down and eat a meal that spikes it even higher. That is the dawn phenomenon, and it means that breakfast is not just another meal for people over 60. It is the single most metabolically consequential meal of your entire day. What you eat in the first hour after waking sets the trajectory for your blood sugar, your energy, your hunger signals, and your muscle biology for the next 12 to 16 hours. Get it wrong, and the rest of the day is playing catch-up. Get it right, and everything downstream improves. Here is a number that will put this in perspective. An estimated 96 million American adults have pre-diabetes. That is more than 1 in 3 people, and the majority of them do not know they have it. Their fasting blood sugar is already creeping above healthy levels every morning, and every high glycemic breakfast they eat is pushing it higher, further damaging their insulin sensitivity, one meal at a time. If you are over 60 and you have never had your fasting glucose or HbA1c tested, I strongly encourage you to ask your doctor about it at your next visit. So what exactly is going wrong on most people's breakfast tables? Let me walk you through the 3 worst offenders, starting with the one that shocks people the most. Offender number 1, cereal and milk. The first offender is the one most seniors consider the backbone of a healthy breakfast, a bowl of cereal with milk. It is quick, it is convenient. The box has a heart-healthy label on the front, and it is one of the worst things you can put in your body at 7 a.m. when you are over 60. Here is what happens inside your body when you eat cereal in the morning. Most commercial cereals, even the ones marketed as healthy, whole grain or high fiber, are made from refined or semi-refined grains that have been stripped of most of their original nutritional value. When those processed carbohydrates hit your digestive system, they break down into glucose almost instantly. Your already elevated morning blood sugar spikes even higher. Your pancreas scrambles to produce insulin, and roughly 60 to 90 minutes later, your blood sugar crashes. That crash is the moment most people describe as hitting a wall. The sudden fatigue around 9 or 10 a.m., the brain fog, the irritability, the craving for something sweet to pick you back up. Most people blame it on a bad night of sleep or simply getting older. It is neither. It is a predictable biochemical response to the wrong fuel at the worst possible time. And the cereal industry knows this. A single serving of many popular cereals contains as much sugar as a glazed donut. But nobody eats the serving size printed on the box. Most people pour roughly 2 to 3 times that amount into their bowl. By the time you add milk, which contains its own natural sugar in the form of lactose, you are consuming a meal that is almost entirely fast-digesting carbohydrates, with very little protein and almost no healthy fat to slow the absorption down. The result is a blood sugar roller coaster that does not stop at breakfast. The CDC has documented that a high glycemic morning meal elevates blood sugar responses at lunch and dinner as well. One bowl of cereal at 7 a.m. is still affecting your metabolic machinery at 7 p.m. And there is a deeper problem that most people never think about. A bowl of cereal with milk contains roughly 3 to 5 grams of protein. For an adult over 60, research suggests you need at least 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast to meaningfully stimulate muscle protein synthesis. That means cereal delivers less than 1/5 of the protein your aging muscles need to even begin the repair process. You are not just spiking your sugar, you are leaving your muscles completely unfed during the most important protein window of the day. Every single morning, that muscle-building opportunity is wasted. Over months and years, that wasted window compounds into the loss of strength and mobility that millions of seniors accept as inevitable aging. It is not inevitable, it is the direct result of the wrong breakfast. But cereal is only the first offender. The second one hides in a glass. Offender number 2, fruit juice. The second offender is orange juice, or any fruit juice consumed first thing in the morning. And this one is the hardest for people to accept, because fruit juice has been marketed as healthy for so long that questioning it feels almost wrong. Here is the reality. A single glass of orange juice contains roughly 21 grams of sugar. That is the equivalent of pouring 5½ teaspoons of sugar directly into your bloodstream. And unlike eating a whole orange, which comes wrapped in fiber that slows sugar absorption, juice delivers all of that sugar in liquid form with zero fiber to buffer it. It hits your system like a tidal wave. Now pair that glass of juice with the bowl of cereal we just discussed. You have consumed a breakfast that is almost entirely sugar and refined carbohydrates. Your blood sugar does not just spike, it skyrockets. And the crash that follows is even steeper, even more exhausting, and even more destructive to your energy for the rest of the day. But here's what makes juice particularly dangerous for adults over 60. That sugar load triggers a massive insulin response. And when insulin floods your system repeatedly, meal after meal, day after day, your cells become progressively less responsive to it. That is the pathway to insulin resistance, which is the precursor to type 2 diabetes, which now affects or threatens nearly half of all adults over 65 in the United States. I want to be clear about something. Whole fruit is not the enemy here. An actual orange, eaten whole, contains fiber that dramatically slows sugar absorption, plus vitamin C, potassium, and phytonutrients that your body uses productively. The problem is specifically juice, where the fiber has been removed and the sugar is delivered in concentrated liquid form. If you love oranges, eat the orange. Just stop drinking it. If this is already changing the way you think about your morning, take 1 second and tap the like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need it. And subscribe if you have not already, because every week this channel brings you exactly this kind of information. Now, the third offender. And this one is going to surprise you because it looks completely innocent. Offender number 3, toast and jam. The third offender is toast with jam or jelly. 2 slices of white toast with a layer of strawberry jam is one of the most common breakfasts in the Western world. It is cheap, it is fast, it is comforting, and it is metabolically almost identical to eating a candy bar at 7 a.m. White bread has a glycemic index that is nearly as high as pure glucose. That means it converts to sugar in your blood almost as fast as sugar itself. When you add jam, which is essentially concentrated fruit sugar with almost no fiber, you are compounding the problem. The total carbohydrate load of 2 slices of toast with jam can exceed 50 grams, nearly all of it fast digesting, with virtually no protein and no fat to slow the release. But here is the part that connects to something much bigger than just energy. After the age of 60, when you eat a meal that is almost entirely carbohydrates with very little protein, your muscles pay the price. A study published in Frontiers in Nutrition found that protein intake at breakfast had a stronger effect on skeletal muscle mass in older adults than protein consumed at lunch or dinner. The researchers discovered that seniors who consumed adequate protein at breakfast maintained significantly more muscle mass than those who loaded their protein into the evening meal. Think about what that means for the toast and jam breakfast. You are not just spiking your blood sugar, you are starving your muscles during the exact window when they are most receptive to protein. Every morning that you eat a carbohydrate-only breakfast, you are missing the most important muscle-building opportunity of the day. Over weeks and months and years, that missed opportunity accumulates into the loss of muscle mass, strength, and independence that so many seniors attribute to aging. It is not aging, it is breakfast. So now you know the three offenders: cereal, juice, and toast with jam. Alone, each one is problematic. Combined, which is exactly how most seniors eat them, they form a metabolic disaster that repeats every single morning. But understanding what to avoid is only half the equation. The more important question is what to eat instead. And the answer is simpler than you might think. The replacement breakfast I promised you at the beginning of this video, that I would give you a specific replacement breakfast that takes less than 5 minutes, costs almost nothing, and is backed by published research. Here it is. 2 to 3 whole eggs, cooked gently in extra virgin olive oil, with a handful of sautéed spinach or a quarter of an avocado on the side. That is the breakfast. And the science behind why this combination works so powerfully for adults over 60 is extraordinary. Let us start with the eggs. Eggs are one of the most complete protein sources available to humans. 2 large eggs deliver approximately 12 to 13 grams of high-quality protein, including roughly 1.6 grams of leucine, the amino acid that directly triggers muscle protein synthesis. For adults over 60 who are fighting anabolic resistance, that leucine trigger at breakfast is critical. The study from Frontiers in Nutrition I mentioned earlier found that protein at breakfast had a stronger effect on preserving muscle mass than protein at any other meal. Eggs deliver exactly the kind of protein your muscles need, at exactly the time they need it most. But eggs do something else that cereal and toast cannot. They do not spike your blood sugar. The protein and healthy fat in eggs slow the absorption of glucose, preventing the spike and crash cycle that destroys morning energy. Instead of a roller coaster, your blood sugar follows a gentle, stable curve that sustains energy for hours. That is why people who switch from cereal to eggs consistently report that the mid-morning wall disappears. They are not just feeling better. Their biochemistry is fundamentally different. And I want to address something you may be thinking. What about cholesterol? For decades, eggs were demonized because of their cholesterol content, but the science has moved on. Current research, including a major review published by the American Heart Association, has found that dietary cholesterol from eggs has a minimal impact on blood cholesterol for the vast majority of people. The real driver of unhealthy cholesterol levels is refined sugar and processed carbohydrates, exactly the foods we are replacing. The irony is profound. The breakfast you were told was heart-healthy, cereal and skim milk, is the one that damages your metabolic system. And the food you were told to avoid, whole eggs, is the one that protects it. Now add the olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil contains oleocanthal, a natural polyphenol that functions like a gentle anti-inflammatory in your body. It also contains compounds that research has shown can help restore sensitivity in the mTOR pathway, the master switch for muscle building that becomes less responsive after 60. Cooking your eggs in olive oil is not a flavor choice. It is a strategic nutritional decision that amplifies the muscle protective effect of the meal. And then the spinach or avocado. Both add a layer of fiber, healthy fat, and micronutrients, particularly magnesium and potassium, that stabilize the meal even further. The fiber slows digestion. The fat extends satiety. The magnesium supports over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including muscle relaxation and blood sugar regulation. This is not a random side dish. It is the final piece of a meal that is engineered to do 3 things simultaneously: stabilize your blood sugar, protect your muscle mass, and sustain your energy for hours without a crash. The total preparation time is under 5 minutes. Crack the eggs into a pan with a tablespoon of olive oil over medium-low heat. Toss in a handful of spinach, let it wilt. Slide it onto a plate, or simply slice half an avocado and set it beside the eggs. The cost is negligible. The ingredients are available in every grocery store in the world, and the effect on your morning, your energy, and your long-term health is transformational. Now, if you do not eat eggs or simply want variety, there is a strong alternative. A cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt with a tablespoon of ground flaxseed and a small handful of berries. Greek yogurt delivers 17 to 20 grams of protein, including the branch-chain amino acids your muscles need. The flaxseed adds omega-3 fatty acids and fiber, and the berries add antioxidants with a minimal glycemic impact. It takes zero cooking, it travels easily, and it hits the same metabolic targets as the egg breakfast. The key in both cases is the same principle: protein and healthy fat first, carbohydrates kept low and slow. What happens when you make the switch? Let me tell you what the research says happens when people over 60 switch from a high-carbohydrate breakfast to a protein and fat-first breakfast like the one I just described. Blood sugar stabilizes. The spike and crash pattern that has been running on repeat every morning for years flattens into a gentle, sustained curve. Energy becomes consistent from morning through afternoon. The mid-morning wall, the brain fog, the 10 a.m. craving for something sweet, all of it either diminishes significantly or disappears entirely. Hunger signals normalize. When blood sugar is stable, the hormones that regulate appetite, particularly ghrelin and leptin, start functioning properly again. You eat less at lunch, not because you are restricting, but because you are genuinely not as hungry. Your body got what it needed at breakfast, and it is not screaming for more fuel. Muscle preservation improves. The protein and leucine delivered at the most important meal of the day begin counteracting the anabolic resistance that accelerates muscle loss after 60. Over weeks and months, this single change contributes meaningfully to maintaining the muscle mass that keeps you mobile, independent, and strong. And there is one more benefit that people rarely expect. Sleep improves. When your blood sugar is not crashing and spiking all day long, the hormonal disruption that wakes people up at 2 or 3 a.m. begins to settle. A stable metabolic day produces a more stable metabolic night. Cortisol, the stress hormone that drives the dawn phenomenon, also plays a major role in middle-of-the-night waking. When your morning meal keeps cortisol from spiking unnecessarily, the downstream effect reaches all the way to your sleep quality 16 hours later. Several of my patients have told me that the first thing they noticed after changing their breakfast was not more energy during the day, but better, deeper, more uninterrupted sleep. Here is everything in one place, and I want you to screenshot this right now so you have it tomorrow morning. Stop eating cereal, fruit juice, and toast with jam as your daily breakfast after 60. These foods spike blood sugar, crash energy, and starve your muscles during the most important protein window of the day. Replace them with 2 to 3 whole eggs cooked in extra virgin olive oil, with a handful of spinach or a quarter of an avocado. This meal stabilizes blood sugar, protects muscle mass, sustains energy for hours, and may even improve your sleep. That is not a diet. That is not a restriction. It is a 5-minute swap that changes the metabolic trajectory of your entire day. And unlike most health advice, you do not have to wait weeks or months to feel it. Most people notice the difference within the first 3 to 4 days. The crash disappears, the energy holds, the fog lifts, and once you feel the difference, you will never go back. Let me leave you with this. You have been eating breakfast every day for decades. Most of those mornings, you were unknowingly making a choice that worked against your body instead of with it. That is not your fault. The information was never given to you clearly. The food industry marketed sugar as energy. The dietary guidelines told you to fear eggs and embrace grains. And for millions of seniors, that advice quietly contributed to the fatigue, the muscle loss, and the blood sugar problems they now live with every day. Today we corrected that. Tell me in the comments what you ate for breakfast this morning, and whether you are going to try the egg and olive oil swap tomorrow. Tell me your age. Tell me how your energy has been. I read every comment on this channel, every single one, and your story might be the reason someone else finds this video and finally understands why they have been so tired. If you are not yet subscribed, do it right now. Every week I bring you evidence-based, practical health information designed specifically for adults over 60 who refuse to accept that feeling worse is just part of getting older. It is not. It never was. And this community is proof of that. Until next time, eat well, start with breakfast, and never let anyone tell you that feeling exhausted by 10 a.m. is normal. It is not normal. It is fixable, and now you know how.